Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg on the hot seat. He is likely to be filleted by Congress, as Vanity Fair so aptly put it. Why? Well, I'm going to take the Russians and Trump out of the Facebook equation and make it simple. Facebook uses you. It sells your personal information for one reason, to make gobs and gobs of money. Here's Apple CEO Tim Cook.
The truth is, we could make a ton of money if we monetized our customer. If our customer was our product, we could make a ton of money. We've elected not to do that. Our products are iPhones and iPads and Macs and HomePods and the watch, etc. And if we can convince you to buy one, we'll make a little bit of money, right? But you are not our product. You are our customer. You are a jewel, and we care. We care about the user experience, and we're not going to traffic in your personal life. I think it's an invasion of privacy. I think it's privacy to us is a human right. It's a civil liberty.
So Cook is slamming Facebook because Facebook gathers your information, not because it likes you, but because it can offer your information to advertisers so advertisers can target you. As for the weedy part of this equation, you know it well. A political data firm lifted personal information from 87 million users or more. We don't know. Russians are still posting fake news. And with all of that in mind, we are still using Facebook. Despite a silly hashtag and despite being made a patsy by the Russians, we still feel the need to overshare. Opinion Nation, I want to hear from you. Why won't we quit Facebook? Have you deleted your account? Why or why not? Join the conversation with my guests. Maya Kosoff is a tech writer for Vanity Fair. Louise Matsakis is a staff writer for Wired. Stephen Shillingford is a cybersecurity and online privacy expert with... I'm
trying.
How do you pronounce
Anonymity.
that? Thank you. Anonymity Labs. There you go.
He's like...
I was so angry over Facebook and so confused why people still want to use Facebook. After all of that, I could not get that out. So, Maya, I'll throw that first question to you. Why can't we quit Facebook?
You know, I think there's myriad reasons, right? There's a social aspect. I think for a lot of people, Facebook is a sense of community in a way that no other website or platform has really ever been. You know, people act like they have a Rolodex of contacts on Facebook that maybe they don't have elsewhere. And then there's also the fact that Facebook is kind of like the central nervous system of the internet. It's ubiquitous. Thanks to things like Facebook Connect, which lets other websites and apps integrate your Facebook ID login. It lets you log in with your Facebook ID, things like Spotify, Tinder, Airbnb. And then you also have the Open Graph API that Facebook released several years ago that lets it lets websites put Facebook like buttons and commenting systems on their website. So you comment using your Facebook ID. So for many reasons, it's hard to quit Facebook. It's hard to divorce yourself from it.
So Stephen, is it Facebook has made itself indispensable to our lives?
Well, I think so. I think, you know, you can think of Facebook as a bit like Hotel California. Once you're in for good, and it's very difficult to leave. They make it purposefully difficult to download your information and take elsewhere, and they purposely make it sort of obfuscated with how to set your privacy settings. So they're in the business to harvest your information, harvest your behavior, harvest your networks. And, you know, for 10 years, they probably hid that. And I think now, because of some of the other sort of broader scandals, they've definitely been exposed, and now they have to kind of answer to that.
They do have to answer to it, like in front of lawmakers today, like Mark Zuckerberg's going to sit down. I was trying to find some figure about how many people actually have dropped Facebook in light of this horrible, awful scandal, but I can't because, you know, Facebook would have to reveal that. I can tell you that Steve Wozniak, Elon Musk, and Cher, yes, they've all dropped Facebook. Here's the reason why from the Woz.
About a week ago, I stopped using Facebook, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. Stopped using it, carefully looked around. A couple of my friends have left Facebook, and family members. My wife and son are leaving Facebook, or did, and good friends that I respect their integrity and their ethics left it. And I said, when you see people you admire for how they think, do things, I like to also get that in my head. So I just took the leap. I said, hey, I'll lose some good things and I'll get back a life, kind of.
See, Louise, isn't that refreshing? I'll get back a life, kind of, he added.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with Facebook is that it operates like a monopoly, right? Like there really is nowhere else you can go. Even if you want to choose an alternative like WhatsApp or Instagram, those are both owned by Facebook. You know, and in 63 countries, Facebook is offering a program where it allows you to access the site for free. So in a lot of countries in the world, it's become the de facto internet. I think there are not a lot of other options.
So Maya, I have come to the conclusion that we really don't care that our personal information is being leaked because it's worth it for the use of Facebook. And that's kind of sick, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of terrifying to think of it that way. I mean, the few people who I think are savvy enough to know how to divorce themselves, I think, from the platform entirely, who gave up all that information to Facebook, have already lost that data. Like Facebook already has it, third parties already have access to it.
I know. So why are we so willing to give up our personal information, Steve? Because it's gonna happen again. Like Mark Zuckerberg's going to testify and he's going to put some, I don't know, protections into place. But you know it's going to happen again. It always does.
You're absolutely right, Carol. I think I disagree slightly with the panelist in the sense that I think we've been on this kind of journey for the last 10 years with Facebook. I think what people are finding is that they would like to leave. They would like to find alternative solutions, and there are many out there. But because in part Facebook has made it difficult to leave, and there's so much, addictiveness to the design and the sort of behavioral modification that goes on in the platform, that it is no different than when we, try to lose weight after the holidays, or when we try to, form a better habit. It just takes an alternative, it takes a behavior change, and it just takes kind of the willpower that I think people are now starting to muster up.
Well, here's the thing that Mark Zuckerberg's expected to talk about. He's going to say that Facebook actually doesn't make money off of its customers. You're not really monetized. But I don't know, Louise, how he's going to talk his way around that when your information does go to advertisers who specifically target you, who gather information from like Facebook, which he kind of like owns.
Yeah, I mean, what is the product if it's not you, right? Like, there's nothing else that Facebook has except the collection of the posts that everyone has put on the platform. There isn't anything else for Facebook to monetize. There is no other element that they're selling to advertisers. I don't see that argument. And I think this willpower argument, sure, like, it would be great if you could just, gather the willpower to delete Facebook. But the reality is that they've made it really difficult. And I think that it's not an individual consumer right now. It's not like an individual consumer decision, right? A fourth of the population of the world is on Facebook. More people are on Facebook than have ever lived in a single country in the history of the world. I don't think that this is a decision that is just down to, the individual consumer. Even if everyone quit in America, that's like 10% of their users. I don't think we can just all decide to get off the platform.
So Maya, when he sits down and he says, you know what, we care about you, we care about our customers, we want to make it right, should we take him at his word?
It's going to be a bit of political theater, I think, today and tomorrow that you're going to see. He's going to appear, a bit less defensive than he has in the past, and I don't know if we should necessarily take him at his word, because who knows what else is going to come out? Who knows how many more people were really affected by the Cambridge Analytica leak or by other, third-party breaches that have happened using Facebook's data. I think we should hear him out, but I think what you're going to see today is going to be sort of a reputation-saving move for Zuckerberg and for Facebook.
So, Steve, after this is all said and done with 2 days of testimony, and we're all like, running around in circles trying to understand exactly what Mark Zuckerberg actually means, is it, bottom line, we don't care enough that our private information is being stolen by companies to do anything about Facebook. So why bother to even listen to Mark Zuckerberg's testimony?
Well, I know why he's not talking under oath today, because he clearly monetizes everybody on that platform, and to say otherwise is just patently false. So we need to be sort of open-minded and clear-viewed about that. I would say, I think, if you just take a broader view here, this is the first time I think we've seen the negative implications of data mining, and it's become a very kind of almost worldwide issue. I would argue that there's going to be some behavior change, and maybe it only starts with a small number, but let's face it, 10 years ago, there was no Facebook. And, now we have 2 billion users.
Sure.
Big monopolies fall, and they fall fast, especially in the digital world. And I think this is just one of those stepping stones to sort of greater democratization of personal information and fundamentally control over it versus delegating that control to other companies.
Fascinating conversation. Thanks to all of you. And yes, I realize the irony of my asking people to respond on Facebook. Thanks to all of you for being here.